Last season, we relied on youth to keep us afloat in the championship, but now under new investment, we start our climb back to the top. Another season with the Hammers, but a brand new situation this time around. Our success over the last 3 seasons brought in interest from investors, and we sold off the club to an American billionaire who wants to see West Ham back at the top of English football. This takeover gets us the money and influence that we've been missing since the team's fall from grace in Season 1 and unleashes brand new opportunities for us as manager. The new ownership wanted to show that they mean business right away and kicked off the summer window with a $20 million purchase of last season's joint top goal scorer Lucas Nemecha. And this looks to be the first of many signings as we build for promotion, and we also use our newfound money to extend the contracts of our existing stars for several more years. And this kicks off what looks to be our craziest season yet: new signings, huge games, and a return to the London Stadium to top it all off. But now it's time to get down to business and see if we have what it takes to bring this squad back to the Premier League. Hey, what's going on? Respected Jeff here for Season 4, Episode 1 of this West Ham career. Welcome back, guys, and buckle up. It's going to be a crazy season here. We kick things off with the biggest news of the summer. West Ham has been taken over by a new American investor. Plenty of money coming into the club now. I left it to a vote. You guys decided, and it was the clear winner here. So this should take us on a more or less straightforward path back to the top. And the first thing the new board did is come in and make a statement signing, purchasing Lucas Nemecha, the joint top goal scorer last season from Middlesbrough, $20 million, as well as Jakubiak going the other way in this deal. And he's actually a player we passed up on signing for free at the end of last season, so this just shows the kind of issues we might have with this board. I didn't necessarily want a striker, but the board made the decision for a high-profile signing, so we get a player who is very good, fast, clinical, tons of potential. We just gotta figure out how he fits in this team. The other big signing already, Regan Poole coming in on a pre-contract from the end of last season, 24-year-old center back, 69 overall, 75 potential. He's a good playmaker, he's quick for a center back, and he's another one that could help the depth of this team a lot, an immediate improvement over a lot of our other defenders. But even with those 2 signings and plenty of money spent already, we still have $15 million left over from the board. That'll take us to around 35 total to spend, but where else can we improve? Well, I think we've got 3 key areas to focus on. Number 1 is a wide winger, since Holland and Brown are our only senior wingers. And we also probably need another center back since we lost Whitaker, and Cabrera's going to be back in midfield where he belongs. And finally, our central midfielders are already pretty good, and we do have depth with Hall and Cabrera, but after losing Boateng and a few others, we could maybe use one other player for cover in the center of the pitch. So we're targeting 3 signings, and our Season 4 goals now. Number 1 is win promotion. The board wants us to push for this at all costs. We still got some work to do signing players to get to that level, but I think we could pull it off. We also want to sign an MLS player just for the American connection and try to score 40 goals between Hugill and Nemecha, who both broke 28, I think, last season, so it should be doable if we can find a solution that fits both of them into this team well. So we got the money and the backing of the new board. Let's get to work right away. First things first, we got to get rid of players who don't fit the system or are just not going to fit into the side. So Kemp, Trott, Coventry, and Anang all put on the transfer list, and we're also going to be looking to loan out Correa and a few others who just aren't ready for first team action. And this leaves us with the transfer list that you see in front of us. I think first up is a center back I'm going to target. I got a couple of good options here, and remember, we got $15 million left to spend, so I think for me it's between Robinson and Callens, both MLS players, so we could knock out that challenge as well. And for me, I think Callens is probably the better bet here. He is older, but he is significantly cheaper. I think we could get him for a decent price. It's also worth noting that he is Peruvian, so he might fit in with some of our Chileans in the locker room, and we get the deal done. $5.5 million, bringing him in from the MLS, and it's our first personal signing of this season. 30-year-old center back, a great talent, 74, will immediately improve our defense. The Peruvian connection, the American connection, he can do it all and maybe tie this team together behind the scenes a bit. He takes the number 5, and he will be on a crucial role, so we'll be seeing plenty from him this season. And while we're at it, we're going to set up some of our scouting in the States as well. Just to appease the new ownership. So one significant change that's happening here, if you guys remember, we had the limit of 3 youth players per season. We're cutting that down to 2 to reflect less emphasis on that going forwards, but we will still be able to make new signings. And here's what we got for the new kits, guys. This is the new home one. We got some gold trim around more of a classic design. The away, we have sort of a camouflage pattern that I made. I was just trying things out in Photoshop, thought it looked kind of neat. It's pretty simple, a lot of blue. And then finally, the third kit, I went crazy and I just threw some patterns on. I was kind of trying to mimic the style of this career series that I have in the intro and stuff with the neon colors. I thought it looked kind of cool, wanted to try something different, so we've got that for this season as well. Now in terms of how we line up for preseason, I'm going to rotate a lot, but I think in our back line right now, we're going to have Garmston, the new signing Callens, as well as Regan Poole to see how they can fit in. I want Archie Hall back into this side. I'm going to give him a fair chance to break into the first team. And then we're putting new signing Nemecha up top alongside Hugill. I want to see how the two of them can play together. It's Alexander given a rest. We're going to have to see how to reconcile the three of them up top. It's going to take a little tinkering, I think. Ed Green gets the start on the wing, Holland on the left. And while we're at it, yeah, that might be it. Tyler Bell's going to be in goal. I'm also going to change around a few numbers here. Button gets number 1 this time, taken away from Trott, who does not have a future with us going forwards. And with that said, let's get to the games and see how our new signings fit in during preseason, and then we'll push on for the start of the actual season in the championship. Alright, well, we kick things off. The focus of preseason has been all about the financial takeover, but right now my biggest problem as manager is figuring out our strongest starting 11 with all the new faces in this side. The talk of the town has been what the signing of Nemecha means for the future of young star Lance Alexander, and I need to figure out what's best for the success of this team moving forwards. But right off the bat here, Nemecha makes an immediate claim for a starting spot with clever link-up play and eventually a goal after only 13 minutes in his first match. A really strong start to his time here. And the debut gets even better in the second half. Nemecha with a smart run in behind, using his insane speed to grab a second goal. And then only minutes later, another counterattack with a run in behind. Nemecha lays off an unselfish pass for Jordan Hugill, who returns the favor to send it back again and tops off a fantastic hat-trick in the first match for our new striker, Lucas Nemecha. Well, he might not be the signing that I necessarily wanted, but we do have him in the squad regardless, and he does look to be a top-class talent for this level. So some subs coming on later in the match. Alexander, very much still part of our plans, and he is given a chance to show what he can do in the face of this new striker. Exposing space in behind once again, he has his effort saved by the goalkeeper, and it's the unlikely substitute Affeline who's there to clean it up for a fourth goal. Affeline's a fringe player, but with low wages and a sporadic role, we actually might keep him around for depth this season. But the talk of the first match is all about Nemecha and his brilliant performance. We look to have a great player on our hands. Alright, second game. I tried something different. Nemecha this time out on the left-hand side, playing on the wing, and Alexander back up top to see if we can fit all three of our strikers together. And it worked out okay. Alexander was at his usual best, playmaking from the front and slipping in a few chances in behind. But Nemecha wants goals and doesn't necessarily want the responsibility of playing as a winger. And he still managed to be a threat by pushing into the box and cutting in from the wing, and he actually ended up with the opening goal of the game anyways, getting into a central position despite supposedly being out on the wing, and the selection headache continues. Nathan Holland setting up Jordan Hugill, who is still hungry for goals with an insane bit of skill, but the game ends with our 1-goal lead, and once again, Nemecha is man of the match. Alright, third game, Tyler Bell in goal once again, and proving why he is one of the most promising young goalkeepers around, making a couple of amazing saves. But the talk of the town was all about Ed Green here, setting up what might already be the goal of the season with a rainbow flick over the defender, and once again, Nemecha there to finish. He simply could not be having a better start to life here at West Ham. But look at that, the replay from Ed Green, absolutely outrageous piece of skill, and he continues to prove why he is one of the most talented dribblers around. Marcus Brown trying to not be outdone though, taking his man on, showing that he has some skills in his locker as well. Chance goes missing. Hugill still yet to find the back of the net. Nemecha pushing forwards here, but it was Marcus Brown called back, and he goes down after a solid performance so far. And all we can do here is hope that it's not too bad of an injury. Unfortunately, Marcus Brown is out for 7 months. Guys, this is a terrible way to start the season, so we're forced back into the transfer market here. Looking around, I mean, he's going to be out most of the season, so we need somebody to cover. Adam Reach is one I've had an eye on for a while. But in the end, I think our best bet here is Michaela Antonio, the ex-West Ham player. He's an experienced player. He can do a lot of good work defensively as well. So we bring him in for $7 million, taking our budget down just a little more. And welcome back to be a hammer once again, Michaela Antonio, 32 years of age. He's a right midfielder. He could fill in at right back too. He's very solid. Work rates are great, 75 overall. He's also a huge goal threat with his aerial ability and a very experienced player as well. So I think he'll help this team out a lot regardless. us. And you know what, while we're at it, we still do want a center mid in this side just for depth, but with our starting three all on crucial roles, it's going to be hard to promise minutes to any newcomers really. So to be honest, I just checked the loan list here for players who we can bring in and not have to worry about upsetting with a lack of minutes. Maybe a little of a bad business practice, but we have to do what we can to win, and we definitely need more depth to do so. So we actually bring in young PSG midfielder Adil Arshish, and it's a bit of a statement signing from the board. Once again, it goes through, and we've got another center mid to rotate along with Cabrera and Hall. It would be great to sign him permanently if we can get some Premier League money, sort of like Wolves did by loaning in Jota, Vinagre, and I think a few others when they were in the Championship. But first things first, we need success this season. So welcome aboard. That tops off, I think, our 5th signing already in this season, and we haven't even gotten through the preseason tournament here. So our transfer targets knocked out 3 for 3. We got Michaela Antonio and Arshish in center back, winger, and central midfielder. We have a really, really solid squad right now, way better than last season. And with that said, let's finish off this preseason. Alright, well, we get right back to business here. Lucas Nemecha proving that he has what it takes to play at high levels, holding his man off, plays through a fantastic pass. Antonio, our new signing, looking for the other new signing, Arshish, running through. Can't finish the move off, though. Unfortunately, we were undone by a counterattack here early in the second half. Header coming in a goal. We can't keep that one out. Time and time again, our weakness seems to be being caught on the counterattack. Jordan Hugill yet to open his scoring for the season. One-on-one with the goalkeeper, saved, and that was our clearest cut chance of the match. A really hard-fought game. Not a lot of chances for either side, and unfortunately, that sees us leave the preseason tournament with a defeat. Alright, well, preseason over, we gotta shake off that bad form. Some action here. Dan Kemp sold, Elliot Wilson goes out on loan, Bruno Palacios out on loan as well. And we actually have an offer coming in here for Jordan Hugill from both Newcastle and Norwich City. Both championship sides trying to poach our amazing goal scorer, the top goal scorer in the league last season along with Nemecha, but now we've got both, so we're shutting that down for sure. We're not going to help our rivals out this season. We're left with $2.8 million in the bank, but to be honest, I think we're done making signings for the time being unless someone wants to leave. We have a very, very strong side, and our biggest issue now is going to be fitting everyone in, I think. So we start with Nemecha and Hugill up top. I got to figure out what to do with Alexander going forwards, but if I'm just being realistic here, with the people we've got, this is our strongest strike force. Holland on the left-hand side, Antonio on the right, Brown out injured for a while. We got our usual center mids, Cullen, Noble, and Haksabanovic, all on crucial roles, so we'll be seeing mostly them this season in those spots. One of the strongest center midfields in the league, I think. And then finally in the back line, we are improved again. New signing Callens alongside Tompkins and Garmston. And then we also have Regan Poole on an important role, so we'll be seeing a good amount of him rotating in and out as well. Plenty of room for him to grow as well. Callens will get the start though. And then finally in goal, we have Button locking things down. 70 overall, a little upgrade from last season, I think, just to reflect his good performances. Finally on the bench, we've got a few players here, notably Ed Green and Lance Alexander, both on the bench. They were starters at the end of last season and did really well, but they've both been pushed out by new signings. They're going to be rotational players for now, so hopefully they're not too unhappy with reduced playing time. We can figure out how to work them into the squad over time and keep them growing. It's not like I'm sitting them in the reserves or anything, maybe just a few less guaranteed starts this season over last. Plenty of minutes for them both. And then in the next couple of seasons, obviously Lance Alexander is going to be a surefire starter. I still got to see if I can maybe fit all of our best players in though. In the reserves, we've got Bennett pushed all the way to the reserves, which is a shame, but we have so many good talents coming through. He's just not at the quality we need for a real push for promotion this season. He'll continue to grow though and get minutes in cup games. So for now, we field some questions here in the first press conference of the season. And they're asking questions about Nathan Holland, one of my favorite players, a player who's going to feature for us a lot this season, again on the wing. And then we're also asked some questions about our transfer market activity. I think we've brought 5 players in, like I said, so it has been a pretty crazy period. We splashed a ton of money for the championship, around 33 million, I think. So some hefty investment coming in, and hopefully it pays off. We got our first game of the season now against Norwich City, our old side. They tried to take Hugill off of us. Let's show them that we think we have what it takes to win. Alright guys, first game of the season, Lucas Nemecha in the lineup alongside Jordan Hugill. How will these two be able to perform this year? It's live from Carrow Road, first game of the season again, and we get things underway. Norwich City, a lot of possession here early in the match. An incredibly dangerous attack, as we know from playing them in the past. Chance coming in, Button stays on his feet to see that one out. Next chance goes our way. Cullen playing out Haksabanovic on the wing, who lofts one up to the back post. Tim Krul palms that one over. Again, good goalkeeping. Neither side able to break the deadlock. So far, a new signing, Regan Poole, heading that one wide. He wanted the start today, and he got it as per his request. Nathan Holland charging forwards now. Counter-attack, still only 15 minutes into the game. One-on-one. Kind of the defender closing in, and he did miss the chance in the end. Goalkeeper saving it. Tackle coming in here on the wing. Noble giving it his all and showing why. At 35 years of age, he's still got it. But Norwich City breakthrough. Fantastic, powerful strike. Nothing that Button could do against that one. And they take the lead. And things would get even worse. Tompkins trying to close down here, but gives the ball away. And Norwich capitalize on some sloppy defending from us to score yet another goal. 2-goal lead now. And it looks to start getting out of our range. Dermich, 2 goals to his name already this season. And Norwich will be pushing for promotion against us. Direct rivals. And a 3rd goal. McLean, point blank, and Button beaten at the near post. Unfortunately, that's how the game ends. A huge defeat in our first game of the season. We need to see better from this team. We were barely in it at all. Not too many chances after the first half. All right, well, that was a very disheartening performance from the team. But outside of that, the big news of the moment is that Archie Hall has had a transfer offer come in from Leicester City for about his market value. We know how much he means to this team. He was out on loan last season. I really wanted him to come back and make an impact as a rotational player here. But if I'm being perfectly honest, it probably makes sense for his career to move to a bigger team. And we did promise at the beginning of all this that I would sell players to big Premier League teams if they came in with offers. So we take it to negotiations here. And if I'm being honest, again, Leicester City, a way better team than us on paper. If he's going to sit on our bench a lot of this season, he might as well go sit on their bench with players that he can learn from and grow, probably earn more wages as well. So it is a transfer that does make sense for his career. But I'm not going to let him go for $4.4 million. I think that is drastically undervaluing him, even if the game does put that at his amount. He's only 19 years of age, and he has a good amount of potential on him as well. I'm going to ask for $6, but they're being sticklers here, so we take the price down once again, down to 5.5, and we get the same response. That's as much as they're willing to pay. I give them 1/3 offer here for $5 million. Just more out of principle, if anything, but they are not willing to complete the deal. Really, really harsh negotiations there, but we managed to keep a hold of our man for the time being, I guess. We'll consider that a warning sign for Archie Hall that he needs more minutes and he expects bigger things out of his career. And he's one that's been with us since pretty much the beginning of this series. So I'm going to genuinely do my best here to fit him in when it makes sense this season. I do want to see him stay if he's willing to. But for the time being, we got new people coming through the academy. Carson Goodson and Jay Goodson, 2 brothers coming from the States. They're not the single most promising players I've ever seen, but just for the story, I'm going to go ahead and sign them to the team. Might be interesting to have 2 brothers playing on the side. So I'm going to clear out the shop a little bit here. Our youth academy is starting to get overrun with players. I like to have about 6 in there. So I'm getting rid of a left back and a center midfielder. Neither are positions we really need help in. Carson Goodson, the 17-year-old left back, he can also play center back at 6 feet tall, so I will keep him around. He'll fit our 3 at the back formation. Pretty strong physically, definitely needs some work in terms of developing his technical stats, but he's not one that we'll need immediately. And then his younger brother, Jay Goodson, 15 years of age, a central midfielder, shorter and a little more technical on the ball. Not quite as physical. He won't be outstanding in terms of like sprinting around or being strong or anything like that, but hopefully he can develop into a nice playmaker in the center of the pitch there. All right, but they will be longer term signings. Right now we got to focus on getting wins in the league and getting ourselves promotion. It's Nottingham Forest up next for our second game, and we need to do better here. So it's the same starting 11. I hope for better this time, and let's get to it. All right, guys, well, this is actually one of the biggest games of this career. It's our first proper game back at the London Stadium, and a huge occasion here. This is a sign that our club is getting back to the top. Lucas Nemecha lines up aside Hugill once again. Can these two prove that they are one of the deadliest strike forces in the league? We didn't see much from them in the opening game of the season. Jordan Hugill linking up with Nemecha already, who plays through Nathan Holland on the wing, getting across to the back post for Hugill, who slams it in 1-0. And that's more like it from last season's player of the season for our club. Opens his goal-scoring tally for the year. It's the first goal back at the London Stadium, and what a fitting goal that is. Couldn't have come from a better player than Jordan Hugill. But the celebration's cut short as only minutes later, a terrible, terrible decision as Mark Noble is sent off for what looks to me like a pretty harmless challenge. flew in, could have maybe been a yellow, but even that I thought would be harsh. Sent off, we are down to 10 men, and that completely flipped the game on its head. Nathan Holland trying to get in behind, Haksabanovic picking it up, trying to look over the top here. And it's Nemecha in the box, making a clever run in behind, using his pace to again set up Hugo, flying in. Couldn't get a boot to that one though. Lally in behind for Amiobi, cutting it back, and Antonio makes the block, but he tries to clear. Horrible, horrible stuff again from our back line. 1-1, and just before the halftime whistle, Nottingham Forest draw level, and down to 10 men now. We struggled a lot defending for our lives. Tompkins gets that one away. We had a couple chances of our own despite being a man down. Lucas Nemecha again chipping one up, looking for Hugo. He's doing really well to get chances in, the two of them linking up well. Nathan Holland cutting inside this time, and he again lofts one up. Hugo looking for the overhead kick, and we just can't find a second goal. 92 minutes gone, whistle blows, and it's an unfortunate draw for this team. I thought we were the better team, but that's just not reflected. Noble missing next game, and still yet to win. Alright, well, we have a break in action here for the Carabao Cup. We take on Birmingham, and it's been a very disappointing start to the season, still winless. It's only been 2, but I'm expecting much, much bigger things for this team than struggling through results like that this season. So we're trying something different here for the Cup game. Archie Hall, Arshish, and Green out on the wing. It's Alexander back up top. In the back line, we have Bennett and Regan Poole. And we're also going to go ahead and put in Tyler Bell at goalkeeper. An almost completely rotated starting 11 here. Afalayan also going to be out on the left-hand side. Let's see if this team can win. All right, we take on Birmingham, a side we've beat many, many times before. They have not been great in this career. And plenty of players given chances to impress here. And with our form so far, I don't see why they can't start for us if they really impress out here. Tyler Bell getting on the end of that one after a block from the young center back Bennett. Looking for some players to take responsibility out here and really start us on a winning path for this season. 25 minutes in, Archie Hall doing really well to win that ball back. Alexander doing what he does best and setting him back up. And the young center midfielder Archie Hall, what a story. Back into the team for this cup game and scoring a goal. He did all the hard work, won the ball back and put it in the back of the net. The end of the move. Alexander did really well to pick him out though. Both of them still in bidding for a starting spot maybe if they can do well. Afalayan, another outcast, doing well here to play through a ball. Can't quite get that one back. And a chance here coming off the post. And again, barely kept away by the defense, but we do manage to clear it in the end. And then Lance Alexander still doing really well to set up Afalayan, who scores yet again. Well, this has been a crazy story for some of our more fringe players here. Afalayan again getting on the score sheet. Alexander with 2 assists, as well as Archie Hall scoring a goal. Things look to be in the bag now. Ed Green with some tricky footwork, really going at the defense here. Twisting and turning, and he's still going. Ed Green looks to set up Lance Alexander. The final pass missing, but absolutely outstanding stuff from him. So with only a little bit left in the game, I'm trying something different here. Let's try to fit in Nemecha out on the wing. If his problem is tracking back on defense, let's see if we can fit that in. We're going to set him to a low defensive responsibility. He'll be able to cut inside and get central from the wing. It'll almost be like we have 3 up top. It might leave us susceptible to counterattacks at the back if he's not putting a lot of effort into defending. But maybe we can just outscore opposition this way. It would be a way to get all 3 of our strikers happy. I'm not sure how great it'll be moving forwards, but we will try everything we can to get our best players all out there in the starting 11 together. Ed Green plays one over the top, and Nemecha capitalizes off a mistake from the defense, and 3-0. Nemecha continues his unbelievable goal-scoring record for this team. He has fit right in, and he's honestly making life difficult with me trying to figure out where to fit him in over our 2 already great strikers. Seems like he might be able to do it on the wing, as long as he's not forced to track back too much. We'll see how that goes for the team moving forwards. Regardless, for the time being, it's our first competitive win of the season, 3-0. And I think that makes it our first win at the London Stadium as well. You can see how much that means to the fans. A lot of our more fringe players getting minutes and impressing here. We're going to have a lot of rotation this season if we want to fit everyone in. It's a good problem to have, but we have a very, very strong squad from top to bottom. All right, guys. Well, we march on with the season now. It's back to league action, and let's see if we can take this positive form back into the league. We're still winless, only 2 games played though, so there is plenty of time for us to turn things around here. Taking a quick look at our squad hubs so far and some of the stats. Lucas Nemecha running away with the golden boot. A lot of these games have only been played through preseason, but 7 appearances, 6 goals, really solid stuff from him. Afalayan, actually one of the stories of this season so far, 2 goals to his name already. And again, still plenty of season to play for. And I'm not saying he's going to be a world beater for us, but who would have thought come the beginning of this season that he'd be featuring at all? Hugill, a little disappointing by his standards, and Alexander leading the team in assists like we've come to know from him. So I think the story of the coming games here is just going to be how we fit all these players into one lineup together and make them all happy. But that will come next episode. Plenty of action coming up. We are going to storm through the season here and see how we fare come the end of it all. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And as always, please consider subscribing to this channel if you enjoy this content. It helps me out a lot. And I'll continue building for the future and rolling out new episodes. But until then, I'm Respect the Jeff, and I'll see you next time.